If you have a vehicle and a sunny day, you may have the makings of a dehydrator. Hi, I'm Hackpacker, bringing you creative ideas and helpful tips to help you better outjoy the outdoors. Today, I'm going to be turning my vehicle into a dehydrator. I know in the sun it has already gotten up to 124 degrees. That's at least surface temperature of sitting this thing in the sun. All right, so today I'm going to be doing mixed vegetables. They come in a bag. They're frozen. I recommend keeping them frozen until you're ready to use them. Now these happen to be microwavable, steamable in the bag, so you can boil them or cook them in the bag. Wanted, I could throw them up on the dash and kind of let them warm up, cook, soften in the sun, but I'm going for dehydration today. So the other thing that I have is a glass dish. It's just it's an oven safe glass dish. I put paper towel in there. The paper towel is to absorb some of the moisture initially, because right now these things are frozen. So as soon as they hit the air, they're going to start collecting moisture. And our real dehydrator is going to have mesh on the bottom, and the air can get all around. But if it sits in the glass, the water can get on the bottom. You know, the moisture is going to collect on the cold surfaces. It's going to run down on the bottom and sit there. So the paper towel is just going to disperse that, and then it'll evaporate into the air. Probably only need that over for the first day. And be sure to break up the clumps before you open the bag. So I'm basically just going to let these sit in the sun. Kind of all frosty right now. I can't break up some of the clumps right now. In a few minutes I'll be able to do that. So this might actually take a couple days to dehydrate. So one thing that I recommend is, if they're not really dry, put them back in the refrigerator. Put them in we can put them back in here, just kind of seal it up. And the reason I recommend that is because if they're not fully dehydrated yet, they sit overnight, it could start the spoiling process. And we're trying to avoid the spoiling process by dehydrating them. Once the moisture's out, things are less likely to grow on there because it's not a good environment. They need some moisture. Now, if you dehydrate it but you don't keep it sealed, it'll eventually pick up moisture from the air. So I'm going to let this sit here. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And it's probably going to take a couple days. And we'll come back and see how we did.
So we're back. The sun is just gone down. Not completely dark. It's just the sun has gone down below the tree line. And it's about 7.5 hours later. Let's check out our mixed vegetables. So what we have is, well, the corn is definitely the most shrunken and dehydrated. The peas are kind of white and look a little shrunk. The green beans don't necessarily look shrunken, but they have lost some of their green color, and they look a little whitish also. The corn, you can definitely tell, has lost some water. Now, the paper towel here on the bottom is damp. It's pretty damp. So we're not going to leave these overnight in the vehicle. That's just going to promote mold growth. So you're going to want to put it either in the refrigerator if the sun's going to be out and you're going to have a nice hot day tomorrow, or put it back in the freezer if it's going to be a few days before you get a nice hot dry day. So we'll do that and come back. And I think these should be done in about 3 days. I think it's going to take 3 days. A dehydrator would probably do it in less than 24 hours. But we're using the vehicle or the dehydrator, so it's going to take us a little bit longer. But if you don't have a dehydrator and you want to experiment and explore this is the way you can try it. Just don't leave the vegetables out while they're wet, because it's going to promote mold. I'll put them away at the end of the day.
So day 2, I put the vegetables in the refrigerator overnight, and Brought them out again today. They've been sitting out for a few hours. The temperature for today forecast to be about the same as yesterday, high in the upper 80s, but it's been more overcast, and so that's resulting in not so high temperatures. Right now it's reading 90 in the vehicle with 30% humidity. So that's not going to give us the accelerated dehydrating that I would like, given that when the sun comes in and shines on the dash, it creates kind of a solar oven effect, pushing the temperatures way over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and I can push the humidity down below 30%. So it's going to take longer. If you had a dehydrator, you'd be done by a day and a half for sure. I was predicting 3 days of high sun, high heat, and if we don't get enough of the sunlight, it might go into day 4. You really want to make, so the paper towels are still kind of moist. You really want to make sure that you're not just leaving them there when they're moist, because that's going to promote mold. That would be a problem. So I may not have mentioned it, but you want to move these around every so often. So if you're doing this at work or not, anyway, come out every couple hours and just kind of move it so they're not sitting in the same place, because a couple of them will lay up against each other. And I've got this corn looks mostly intact and whole, and this guy over here, to me, looks pretty dehydrated. This pea is really hard. I mean, where's this guy? He's kind of squishy yet. So they'll eventually all get pretty dried, hopefully, and push them around and give a dry sound to it. Dry little rattle. And we're not there yet, so we need another, I'm saying probably 2 days. So this is a slow process, but if you've already got a vehicle sitting in the sun, it's a free process. Check it out. Let me know if it works for you, what you think, and if there's something I could have done better. I'm always interested in hearing that. It's day 3. I've been doing this over a 3-day weekend. So today, it's less cloudy. We've got more sunny. Right now, I've got 37% humidity, which is not great. 95 degrees. But I don't know if you can see it. They're dry. They're not done. But when I feel it, I got, for whatever reason, this corner over here feels more dry, and this corner over here feels wet. So it isn't completely dry, but there's no denying that they're drying. They're dehydrating. And this will give us 2 advantages. It will be lighter to carry when we're hiking, and it will be preserved better, longer lasting. So we'll be able to hike, and it will take longer for that food to spoil when it's dehydrated than if we had left it under non-ideal conditions. And I wanted you to hear, I'm going to do a shot where you can hear the vegetables. They are starting to sound a bit dry now, which is good. It's a good thing. So technically, it's day 4 of my 3-day weekend dehydrating food in the car. The day 3 ended. It got dark before I could film, and then I needed to leave for work on day 4, and it was dark when I left. So here in the parking lot. But I don't know if you can see, there's little dots on the windshield. We're gonna have rain today, but check out. Can you hear it? So this is dry. I don't know if it's showing up well, but this is what we wanted to achieve. So 3 days of sitting in a hot car in the hot sun, and it has dried out our vegetables. Today's not a good day, even though I got 79 degrees and 68% humidity. It's the humidity that's not going to be good. So my plan is, well, I can remove the oh, can you hear that? That's great. We can remove the paper towels. They've served their purpose. And then I'm gonna put stuff in a Ziploc bag, but ooh, almost spilled it. All right, I just wanted you to hear the dry sound, so I'm gonna put this in a Ziploc bag. And then I would recommend, if it's gonna be more than a couple weeks, store it in the freezer if you've got space. Being the cold in the freezer, ooh, I'm missing spill. Will help preserve it longer. All right, we are done, and I call this a success. Now, technically, I don't know, maybe a dehumidifier would get this even drier. But yeah, this is going to be a success. It's pretty light too. It's pretty light. It's going to preserve well. We can take this hiking for several weeks. If we keep it in a Ziploc bag, it'll keep for several weeks, as long as you keep the moisture out. So that wraps up this experiment. If you found it useful, do let me know, or if you found a better way to do this. Dehydrator is the appropriate way, but if you don't have one and you have a hot car, this might be worth trying. Just pay attention that you don't have too much moisture building up and get mold or worse. So keep them dry.
Outjoy the outdoors even more with a video suggestion above.